Hello there, costuming nerds, welcome back to another tutorial video about the Star Wars Stormtrooper costume, and in this video I'm going to be telling you why the version from The Empire Strikes Back Episode 5 is my favourite version, why I think it's the best version, and why it probably is the best version for you if you're going to be making a Stormtrooper costume. Have you recognised which one's which? Episode 4, Episode 5? Let's find out. As you may or may not know, the original trilogy featured Stormtroopers in all three films: Star Wars, the original Episode 4, A New Hope as it's now called, Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5, and Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Each film featured Stormtroopers, and each film had a slightly different version. The Stormtroopers in Episode 4 and 5, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back are the most similar, and indeed they are the exact same costumes. The same costumes, the same props were reused from Episode 4 for Episode 5, or at least what was left of them, the few that were still intact or relatively intact after the filming of Episode 4. There were, however, some differences as they were touched up and repaired for the making of Episode 5. In this video I'm going to explain the differences between the two versions and give you 5 reasons why, in my opinion, the Empire Strikes Back version of the Stormtrooper is the best version, and stay tuned for reason 5, because that reason 5 is why it's going to be the best for you, especially if you are making your first Stormtrooper costume. If beforehand you said that this Stormtrooper on my left, on your right as you're looking at it, is the Empire Strikes Back version, and this one on my right, on your left as you look at it, is the Episode 4, A New Hope version, then you were right. Let's start then with the helmets, the differences between the helmets, and difference number 1, reason number 1 why the Empire Strikes Back version is the best version. As you will probably notice on here, both feature what is referred to as a frown, a painted frown. On the original version here, it's a kind of mid to dark grey. Check out the video on paints required for your Stormtrooper costume if you want to know more information about the exact colour and what type of paint to use. On the Empire Strikes Back version, it's black. I don't know about you, but when I was little, growing up watching the films, and even as an adult before I got into the costume, I always used to presume that all the detailing on these Stormtrooper costumes was indeed black. Now, simply for that reason, the black frown for me, there's high contrast. It's fitting with what you imagine you see on the screen when you're just watching the movies as a casual viewer. And for me, this high contrast, it just looks better. We're moving on to reason 2 why the Empire Strikes Back version of the Stormtrooper was the best version, but we're still staying with the differences between the helmets, and it's the other details on there. I'm going to turn these to the side. This detailing here, the blue tube stripes as we refer to it, both types of helmet feature these tube stripes, and also this detailing here in the tiers and here in these different traps. Now, on the original, it's all hand painted. I mean, it's a delightful little detail in itself, really charming bit of history, but even with my steady hand, it's kind of uneven. So what happened by the time we got to Episode 5? This is my Trooper Master Episode 5 Empire Strikes Back helmet, and it features accurate replicas of what are in fact stickers or decals. No longer is this hand painted, all this detail. These are stickers, printed decals that really make the whole thing a lot neater. Here in the back traps as well, here's a comparison. The detailing was slightly different. It was roughly based on the original version, but as you can see, a whole lot neater, a whole lot more fitting for an Imperial Stormtrooper. The tube stripes on the originals were slightly lighter, and I think again this high contrast, really nice detailed decals version is the smarter version. Moving away from the helmet details then, and we're now looking at parts of the armour, and in this case it's the handguards. On my right, on your left as you look at it, I have here a set of gloves and handguards as replicated from A New Hope Episode 4. As you can see, these are rubber chemical gloves, and what we have on top glued on are accurate replicas of the latex painted handguards that were featured on the originals. Now don't get me wrong, I think these are great. These are the original version and they're just typical of the makeshift way the costume was thrown together. The paint flakes off quite quickly. This is all very accurate. If you look at the originals, you can see lots of paint flaking off and the original latex colour underneath showing through. This is a reasonably good replica, even if I say so myself, and that's just the way they did it in episode 4. By the time we got to Empire Strikes Back then, a new type of Imperial soldier, Imperial Stormtrooper, was introduced. In the opening scenes on Hoth, we saw the Snowtroopers. The Snowtroopers are those weirdos that look like a bit like the Ku Klux Klan, but what they did feature was some plastic ABS handguards like this. And as these were introduced for the Snowtroopers, at the same time, whilst they were touching up the old Stormtrooper costumes from the original film, they decided that our Stormtroopers were also going to get these handguards. They got new cloth, black cloth gloves, and these handguards placed on top like so. I'll go into some more detail about this in my video where I get suited up as a Stormtrooper. You can see that by clicking on the link on screen now. If we do a quick comparison, then you can have your own opinion about which shape you prefer. There are obviously radically different shapes, but I think the idea that the handguards were also made of the same plastic, they made of the same material, it's also not painted, so it's not going to get any cracking. It's the same material. It gives the idea of a one single suit of armour. It looked a lot more robust, and the black cloth gloves also looked more the part to me. I think it just made for an overall smarter look. And a third reason why for me the Empire Strikes Back Stormtrooper costume is the best version. Moving on then, and a fourth reason why for me the Empire Strikes Back version of the Stormtrooper was the best version, why it looks a lot better. This is a piece of chest armour connected to the back armour, and it's all built in such a way to replicate the original version, a New Hope version of the Stormtrooper. And what we see here is that these shoulder bridges are not connected in any way. These are free floating and only held down as they were on the original costumes by these little thin bits of elastic. If you look carefully when watching the film, especially when they take Leia prisoner and they're standing around in the corridor talking to Darth Vader, you will even see this detail on the shoulder straps as you see the Stormtroopers from the back. Don't get me wrong, it's charming, it's the original version, it's great, it's fun to replicate, but seriously, is that a look fitting of the elite army of Stormtrooper soldiers of the Empire? I don't think so. By the time we got to Empire Strikes Back, these little pieces of elastic, they were gone. To be fair, the same also applies to some of these shoulder straps. By the time they were filming Empire Strikes Back, a lot of the armour was damaged and even some of these straps were completely missing, these outer bridges. It was a bit of a mishmash, and if you look carefully you can see that there were a lot of running repairs done, a lot of missing parts, broken parts, and you can tell the Stormtrooper costumes were really on their last legs. That said, however, we're talking about creating a replica costume, and what I find that the absence of these straps allows us to do is to kind of take some artistic license. Whereas in Empire Strikes Back, these shoulder bridges, if they were indeed still intact, quite often were connected by tape or bolts or lots of other improvised options. I think this gives us a great opportunity to secure these to the back, maybe with some industrial strength Velcro on the inside there, so it's invisible from the outside, but it allows us to close that up neatly, so when we're out trooping at an event we can hold those straps down neatly. There's no visible elastic strap on the outside and it all looks like it's perfectly sealed, like a perfect suit of armour. That was our fourth difference then, our fourth reason why I think the Empire Strikes Back suits were better than the original versions. And as far as this video is concerned, that's all the actual practical differences. Those of you out there that know your stuff will know there is one major difference that I haven't mentioned. We've looked at the differences of the helmet, the handguards and the shoulder bridges. There is one other major difference. If you know what it is, please do comment down below, as I'm sure others will be interested. We're not too bothered about that here. It's talking about personal preferences and why I think the Empire Strikes Back version is the better version. That's neither here nor there, but I'd be interested to see how many of you know your stuff. Comment down below if you know what it is, and we'll move on to number 5, why I think the Empire Strikes Back version is the best version to do from a costumer's point of view, and why it is probably the best version for you to do, especially if you are making your first Stormtrooper costume. Let's summarise then. We had the decals. This is the Empire Strikes Back version with the nice, neat decals on there. What do you think is going to be easier and more satisfying? Is it taking some self-adhesive labels and just applying them to the helmet in the right place and instantly having a neat, perfectly detailed Stormtrooper helmet? Or is it sitting down for hours and hours, painting all this by hand, all this intricate detail, and probably messing it up in the process? 1-0 for the Empire Strikes Back costume. The shoulder bridges then. When it comes to the Episode 4 version, it's no real hassle to install these. This is quickly done. But when it comes to actually wearing this and getting ready for a troop, this is such a pain in the bum. This is the one area that I cannot reach on my own, and it's the one area that always comes undone. When you're trooping, this always seems to slip forward. On an Empire Strikes Back version, you cheat a little, do something that's not screen accurate, put some invisible Velcro inside, stick it down, and you're good to go, and you're fine for the whole troop. Nobody sees a thing. The handguards then. We've already said, for me, the handguards, the new Snowtrooper type handguards, look better. It's also it's usually true when you're ordering Stormtrooper armour, certainly if you're taking my recommendations and ordering from Trooper Master or RS Prop Masters, you can choose your type of handguards and you will have one set of handguards in ABS included in the kit. If you go for the Empire Strikes Back version, you know that right from the start you've got the accurate ABS version for a full ABS suit of armour. Generally, if you want to do a New Hope version, you will get some ABS versions of these handguards, but it's not accurate. It's not the way to replicate the costume, and latex handguards generally cost extra, and also you've got the extra hassle of painting them as well. Add to that the fact that you're going to be running around all day when you're trooping with these rubber hand gloves. You're going to get very, very sweaty. At the end of the day, you're going to look like you've been in the bath, all your wrinkly fingers, whereas the comfortable option for trooping is definitely, for me, these Stormtrooper handguards with some thin cloth, lightweight black gloves. So for me, it's 3-0 to the Empire Strikes Back costume. For me as a costumer, certainly if I'm a beginner and I'm not really confident about tackling the really intricate things, the Empire Strikes Back build is a much simpler build, and it's also going to be a lot more satisfying. You're going to get really good results without being too experienced. It's certainly the way I went. My first ever Stormtrooper was an Empire Strikes Back trooper, and it's still my favourite. My favourite trooping costume is my Trooper Master Empire Strikes Back Stormtrooper, and it will probably always stay that way. I'd love to hear from you. What is your favourite version of a Stormtrooper? Am I absolutely mental? Is it clear for you that the Episode 4 version is the absolute #1? For you, only the original is good enough and the Empire Strikes Back version is just a pale copy? Or maybe you're even a fan of the Stormtroopers from Return of the Jedi that looked completely different. That's a whole different subject for another video. Whatever, please do comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this video interesting or useful, please do like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.